and gentlemen, this is our final presentation coming up. And since we are in Jordan and it's a final knowledge session of the conference, it's time to offer the spotlight to our host country. As I invite our speaker onto the podium, this is a session, an overview into the Jordan sesame industry. And the gentleman who's going to be addressing us this morning, giving us this entire outlook, is somebody who is a very well-known name in the entire sesame, pulses, nuts and oils landscape of Jordan. Their company, Abu Odeh Brothers and Company, is a 25-year-old company, respected and stretching across all boundaries and regions of Jordan, especially in the sesame ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the CEO of Abu Odeh Brothers and Company. Let's give a resounding round of applause from our host country, Mr. Mohammad Abu Odeh.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of Abu Odeh Brothers Company member and the Jordanian sesame importers and the processors to welcome all in your second country, Jordan. The Jordan, the land of the deep history and oldest human civilization in the world. Allow me to thank WSPC for the great organization and the Jordanian Tourism Board for hosting. Hope that you had fruitful business meeting and have enjoyed the swimming and mud experience. Let me share you for the Jordan market size for the sesame seeds. As you see, there is around 40,000 metric ton yearly consumption, and as you see, there is growth like a couple of thousand yearly for this consumption. You know, Jordan, it's a small country, like 10 to 11 million population, but the total consumption, it's good for depend to country size, and the main sources for Jordanian market, it's from Sudan, Ethiopia, Nigeria, India, Brazil, and some other countries. The main industries we do for tahina and dips, bakery, sweet, halwa, and za'atar. Za'atar, it is special from the Jordanian cuisine or Levant cuisine. This is tahina. You know the ingredients, it's 100% come from sesame. And there is main tahina applications in the Arab cuisine. As you see, you know, the hummus, it's very famous now, and the main ingredients in hummus with the chickpeas, and they use it for like salad, side dip, and like a replacement for the dairy. And this is the Eastern sweet. They use a lot of sesame seeds, as you see. And this is the za'atar. This is very famous for breakfast cuisine in our region. They dip the za'atar with olive oil, okay? And the ingredients for this recipe, the za'atar is around 20% from the za'atar product. And halawa, you know, it's like 50% tahina. And this is in short way. We do thank you for everybody to visit us in Jordan, and we do appreciate for the organizers and all visitors. Most welcome in our country, and we appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I would first like to request Mr. Srivatsava Ganpati to present a memento to Mr. Mohammad Abu Odeh. Sir, may we have you on the stage for your time on the podium? Just remain seated, sir. Give us a couple of minutes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude the conference, we shall wind up by presenting a memento to Mr. Odeh in a couple of minutes. You're all here. It's been an amazing last 1.5 days with some amazing sessions, a lot of knowledge being shared, a lot of interactions happening. It's good to see all of you still seated here. One final time, I'd like to hand over the podium to Mr. Srivatsava Ganpati as he sums up the entire World Sesame and Peanut Conference experience here at Dead Sea Jordan. Ladies and gentlemen, this is literally your final round of applause. Let me see your hands. Come on, let's make some noise.
Thank you. For those of you who could not be here over the last 2 days because of business compulsions, here is my understanding of what transpired in the last 2 days. That's a very brief summary. On the supply side, we are expecting good crops in Pakistan, India, China, Nigeria, Chad and Burkina Faso. This is what I understood. However, it is too early in some places, mainly for example like India, where rain and the most inappropriate time could drop the yield from 350 kgs per hectare to even to as low as 200 to 250 as we have seen in the last year. Given that caveat, the supply prospects look to be better this year compared to last year. That's a first one, and that's a very positive point. But we need to be mindful of what's happening in two important origins, Sudan and Ethiopia. There are serious challenges in Sudan due to the ongoing conflict there. Ethiopia also has been having several challenges. The speaker from Ethiopia, who is the president of EPOSPIA, gave us his sense of expectation of the production expectation around 240,000 tons for the coming season. Again, given that everything is going according to the plan. So, and in Sudan, the expectations are even lower than that. Some of them, what I could hear off the stage, was as low as 90,000 tons. But when it comes to Sudan, we need to be mindful of the challenges. Farmers do not have access to finance, do not have access to agrochemicals, and there are transportation challenges, and there are labor issues. So there are real hard issues and ground level challenges in Sudan. So it is anybody's guess as to what could be the size of the production in Sudan, and perhaps how much of it can come out of that country in time. So this is really unfortunate that two of the very important origins, that is Sudan and Ethiopia, are facing severe problems this year. We all hope and pray that situation would become normal at the earliest, and the market will come back and the lives will come back to normalcy in these two countries very soon. Given that supply challenges, the expectations are we would see the floor in prices around $1,700 is what I could hear on the stage, and then on the expectation of the higher side, we would not know, because there is a second component, which is the demand side. The largest consumer in China there is a slowdown in demand. Again, thanks to several factors, primarily the economic situation in China. Second is the currency factor in China. And therefore, China, and also there has been a very positive development in the local crop situation. As against last year of 250,000 tons in China, there are expectations that China could produce around 350 to 375,000 tons of sesame seed this year, weather permitting, because you have seen the acreage increase. And so far the weather conditions has been good. So a couple of factors, increase in local crop, as well as economic situations there, affordability, because given the current prices of sesame, China demand is likely to be subdued. Usually we used to see about 1.2 million tons getting imported into China. There is an estimate that it could be around a million ton import this year if all things go well going into the future. So while we do have certain challenges on the supply side, we also have some challenges on the demand side. We just saw in the morning, even European Union from the peak of 144,000 is stabilizing around 107 to 110,000 tons. There's been a drop in demand. Japan, from its peak in 2020 of over 200,000 tons, is expecting around 167 to 170,000 tons. Again, Japan, from the long-term trend of 150,000, there is a slight increase in demand over a long term. But in the recent last 3 years, we see 200,000, 187 and none, 170 or 167 as the speaker expects. So we are seeing some kind of a compression in demand in key places. However, having said that one, because of a combination of factor, Turkey is seeing a good activity level. The speaker from Turkey projected a demand of about 185,000 tons for this year. August to August comparison is already 186,000 tons, and Turkey is emerging as a major transshipment hub as well, and also a hulling center. So perhaps that is a positive side. Given all these things, the general perception again, as I understand from the floor, is that about 1,700 tons dollars per ton could be the base. On the upside, some of them have given a number as high as 1,850. So, but what emerged yesterday on and off the stage and today again emphasizes that the current year poses or provides a tremendous opportunity for Nigeria, tremendous opportunity for Pakistan, tremendous opportunity for Chad and Burkina Faso. Having said that one, how each of these countries are going to organize themselves, place the emphasis on quality and address the issues what has been raised in the morning, perhaps would decide the future of sesame sector in these countries. So this year, again from the point of view of opportunity, what I could understand, provides great opportunity to these countries, that is Nigeria, Chad, Burkina and Pakistan. And in the morning, after the conversations just we heard, India could see new dialogues commencing with Japan, and also the EU reopening for India for the hulled sesame seed is another very positive development for Indian sesame seed. Coming to peanuts, so we had an excellent session. Based on that, here again, Sudan has created a big void in peanuts. Who would fill that one is a big question. Perhaps even though the India production is not so good, India could raise up and fill in certain demand. We have seen China demand for peanuts is increasing, both for peanut as well as peanut oil. So therefore, the general view of the panel was that we should see a firm price with a floor at about $1,200 per ton. One of the speakers even estimated there is a potential opportunity for prices going as high as $1,350 to $1,400. So until the Argentina crop, which is expected somewhere around February, March next year, there's a pretty good period for Senegal, for India, and other African origins to be a good supplier. Coming to the trade challenges session, we have the speakers identified three factors. Currency fluctuation, basically all the currencies vis-a-vis US dollars have seen a depreciation. The order of magnitude of those depreciation vary from country to country, but we have seen nevertheless a depreciation across board. And that would pose a challenge in terms of affordability. That for the origin countries also pose a challenge in terms of wage inflation, cost pressures, and so on. So on both sides, you have a challenge, both for on the cost push for the origins as well as affordability from the point of view of those who are consuming. Other challenge is the logistic challenges. Our speaker had elaborated on the challenges around Port Sudan and challenges of moving material from Chad, and several other challenges, including challenges in Ethiopia. So logistic challenges, though we wouldn't see the kind of transit delays that we had seen in 2022, but inland movement could continue to pose a challenge in many of the African countries, and specifically when it comes to Sudan, there could be some port challenges, given that the spare parts availability is a challenge. Cranes and the ports are operating at 50%, Port Sudan specifically. So, but the good thing is that Port Sudan has started. Again, one of the speakers very positive, when he said by December, perhaps Port Sudan would be fully functional. We hope and pray for that, because that would mean at least the logistics challenge out of Port Sudan getting resolved. Technology, innovation and food safety for me is a new learning, because Sesame had always faced this low productivity as a challenge. Thanks to Equinom's efforts, with multiple partner countries, today we have a non-sputtering variety which can yield about 1,200 kgs to 1,400 kgs a hectare, and which can be mass produced, and which through genetic markers and other sophisticated technology can give us this sweet and tahini preferred varieties. So I would perhaps think, after listening to the discussions in the morning, that can this variety also reduce the input intensity, especially of some of the agrochemicals with which we are having problems. Maybe that could be a thought, but that's a fantastic initiative of Equinom, and I think over a period of time it would get the attention of at least the developed countries. But again, as one of our as our moderator, Mr. Mukul, pointed out, is there a possibility of having a high-yielding sputtering variety, which is a very, very good food for thought. How to make it as a public good is all that the governments need to think. Because imagine a sputtering variety with 1,200 kgs to 1,500 kgs potential. Perhaps, sir, as you are listening, maybe that's a way we should look at how we can go about doing that one. The presentation from Tomra on aflatoxin detection technologies is very pertinent, especially the case studies pertaining to almonds and then their applicability in peanuts has been quite interesting, and I'm sure we would have follow through discussions with them in terms of adopting that, because aflatoxin is a serious problem when it comes to peanuts, and perhaps we can work with partners like Tomra to address and resolve this issue of aflatoxin fair and square. Likewise, the presentation on comprehensive Sesame processing technology by Bharat Engineering is very revealing in its details. And one of the future challenges which they have been doing R&D on in terms of water intensity of wet process from 1:6 is very commendable. I think the industry should support such initiatives as we move and talk more towards the take this industry more towards the sustainability side. In terms of global certificate, it's again like, very interesting to see global certifying agencies such as SGS is engaged with educating the Pakistan Sesame sector in terms of addressing the food safety norms and requirements very comprehensively. And I'm sure like, such services are needed industry-wide, perhaps like, more so in Africa. And I hope like, this conference would help us like, move in this direction, because as the preference of African origin is increasing, it should not get stumbled by like, quality and food safety related concerns, like, which are very genuine and which needs to be respected. I wouldn't want to summarize the morning sessions, like, because most of you are here, but that's what is the summary of yesterday. Hope it has been very useful for you. Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with this final word, as we conclude the World Sesame and Peanut Conference, I would like to request Mr. Srivatsava one final privilege, requesting Mr. Abu Odeh on the stage as we present a memento. Finally, yes, sir. Let's make some noise, ladies and gentlemen. Let's end this conference with some nice applauses. Well, it's a pleasure being here in this gorgeous country. Ladies and gentlemen, I would also request Mr. Abu Odeh to please stay on the stage. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, let's wind up this afternoon. Let me see both your hands up in the air. Don't worry, I'm not asking you to clap. Let me see both your hands up in the air. Right up. Let's see, can we touch the sky? Yeah, straight up, ladies and gentlemen. For the men, it needs to be straight up, otherwise it doesn't work. Hands up. Yes. And now can we shed all the stagnant energy? Everyone, let's leave it all here. You have a full day ahead. Let's leave all the stagnant energy behind and let's have all the good vibes coming in. Thank you so much. You've been an amazing audience this year. Well, this is Ruchika. I was signing off. Safe departures from Jordan, everyone. Have a great day ahead and thank you so much. Bye-bye.